This is Katie, co-host of Coffee with Keith and Katie. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Do you need some extra motivation in your life? Are you looking to be inspired? If so, then look no further than the Good God Company.
At the Good God Company, their mission is to create and clothe all loving humans with their unique, inspiring, and beautifully designed t-shirts.
All of the products from the Good God Company are equally designed to motivate you and improve your life. From their mugs, workout tanks, to eye-appealing shirts and sweatshirts.
Learn more about their renowned products by visiting thegoodgodcompany.com. That's thegoodgodcompany.com.
The Good God Company is proud to support Public House Media. The Good God Company. I'm feeling good.
This is John Lauder, host of The Cheap Seats here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, The Cheap Seats, where we talk about sports from the fans' perspective. A new show comes out every Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Cheap Seats. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Slightly judging others, or feeling aggravated by them, or maybe feeling frustrated with other people's thoughts and actions, that might be a clue that there's something inside of you that you really need to face for yourself. Good morning. Welcome to Public House Media. Welcome to Choose to Rise. My name is Kim Meyer. I am so glad that you're here with me this morning. Thanks for jumping on live. Thanks for listening in the podcast. I truly, truly appreciate your subscription, for you to hit subscribe and to share this with your friends and family. And today I want to not only encourage you to live your best life, helping you rise up out of your current struggles and living your absolute best life, but I want to help you find that big clue, that one thing that can really drive more happiness in your life and drive more self-love in your life, and how it's kind of being masked in our world and how we get there. I also want to give a shout out to the Good God Company for being one of our sponsors. They create amazing consumer goods that help people be inspired and motivated to live a godly life, to live an inspired life, and they have some awesome gear. So if you go over and check out the Good God Company, use PHM10, you can get 10% off your order there, and just that's awesome stuff. I love my tanks that I have from them. They have super amazing inspirational sayings on them, and just let others know. It's a great way just to kind of share some positiveness in your everyday life. So thanks to them. But what is that one thing that you're doing that's probably driving some negative vibes in your life and you're not even really aware of it? One of those things is judging other people. Do you notice that you oftenly secret judge other people? For example, you don't even think about doing this, but for example, your sister tells you she bought a new car and you're like, she can't possibly afford that. I can't believe she's being so irresponsible with her money. Or your partner leaves your dirty dishes. This is what I do. I leave my dirty dishes on the sink, and before heading out to meet my friends or to get going here or there, I have full intentions of doing them later. But my husband thinks, she's so lazy and she's so sloppy, it's driving me bananas. We just have this balance in our hearts that I'm the messy one, he's the clean one, and all the crazy things that we judge each other on all the time because they're not necessarily a love language, or that we aren't necessarily things that we would do ourselves. And when we secretly criticize those other people, what's really happening in our brain is that's probably because we're criticizing ourselves of some sort of way. So when your coworker is super scatterbrained, or your neighbor is super nosy, or your friend is too self-absorbed, or your kids are just being whatever, what does that all mean? Well, first of all, it means that you're surrounded with people who don't necessarily have their act together, or you're surrounding yourself with people that are mimicking things of your deeper understanding. And so when you are the people that you hang out with, so if you are hanging out with people that are, you're feeling like your buttons are being pushed by things that they're saying or doing, they're probably actually pushing buttons or feelings of yourself. We notice the things about other people that are most like us, and we notice the things of either of jealousy or of things that drive us nuts. By looking at other people, we're actually looking at a mirror, and we interpret other people based on our own experiences and based on our own expectations of life. So your subconscious mind is aware of all the things that are in your heart and your mind. And that part of your mind will also seek opportunities to work out these issues with other people. It will lead you into situations where you can bring that fear into awareness. And, in other words, like you're entering into relationships, people who are going to trigger those fears, trigger that unacknowledged emotion inside of you, and just, can really help you attract relationships where your partner may be withdrawn or act cold or make plans with his friends without really talking to you about it. And you have to be conscious of those kinds of things. So you don't necessarily think, I'm feeling afraid he's going to abandon me or he's going to leave me alone. No, instead you think, he never speaks to me about stuff. You start blaming things, and instead of fixing things around the house or really fixing the relationship and having communication, we start to judge. We start to think, let our mind go into that fear mindset of things that are non-existent, that really are not there. And so, deep down, someone who really wishes they could, be a part of your life or do something with you, like we often put judgment on them because they're not doing what we would necessarily have done. Does that make sense to you? So like I can think of lots of things here. So like in this whole like cleaning thing. So another example, it might be that you consider yourself neat and tidy. I do not. My husband does. Neat and tidy financially. Maybe you're a super conservative person. You keep your home clean, and you never spend time more on it than you need. You never spend more than you make. But deep down, you're someone who really wishes they could just forego all that responsibility, kick up your feet, and just be self-indulgent for a change. Like we all have those like little secrets, those little like wishes that we could do. But you won't really ever admit to yourself that that's something that you ever want to do. It's just something that you accept about yourself. And for whatever reason, maybe in childhood you were rejected for being that way, or there was something said to you that was, that shaped your belief around something. But like your creative mind will actually draw you to situations where you want to be around people who are like that. And instead of admitting that that's something that you'd like to be like, you secretly complain about that. So like that, the example of your sister in the car, maybe you really want a new car, or you want to be able to spend money on things like that, but you're being responsible in how you're using your money. And maybe it's just not in the cards for you right now. It's a little bit of jealousy that works into those kinds of things. So the number one thing that you can do to create more happiness in your life, the number one thing that you can do, like this secret of finding the happiness and joy in your world, is to not be self-critical. When you are critical of yourself, it's super easy to be critical of others. And what you don't really acknowledge, or your feelings about something about yourself, is that it's a deeper sign that down inside of you that you don't love yourself. Because we're always easier to find criticals in other people because we feel inadequate ourselves. And when you're not looking for the negatives, because you're not feeling the negatives, a lot of things change in your life. And so you can always find something to complain about. You're always going to find people in your life that will seem to be less than perfect because you are less than perfect. And unless you can learn to really love who you are and accept yourself and your feelings and your thoughts and be comfortable with who you are in mind, body, and spirit, you're not really going to be able to fully love on other people as well. So how do you break this? How do you, change the things about yourself, or how do you get past this? Well, there have been many, many things in my life that I've just had to deal with. There are things that are things that you have to just you need to learn to accept yourself, you need to love on yourself. And when I've figured out that like I'm being super nitpicky on somebody else, it's because I find those faults in myself, and then I'm not comfortable with them, and so I make them uncomfortable on other people. I've had several unhappy relationships, and in my years growing up, when you become too critically and too obsessed about your feelings or your whatever, like you don't believe that you are capable of learning those things or being a part of those those feelings and those acceptance of pieces, but it's really about who you love as yourself. I know, like, when I was younger, like, I was searching for this perfect guy, and like, I just felt like I was never going to find him and I was just have to settle for somebody. But when I really stopped searching so hard and really started to love on who I was and be good with who I was and not trying to force myself into being somebody for somebody else, that's when the people that, that's when my husband showed up in my life. Like, it was like God just kind of saying, like, figure out you, be comfortable in who you are, and then I'll give you what you're asking for. And so, it's not necessarily a major of like, it's figuring out who you are and who you love and who you were created to be, figuring out the person that the creation that God's made you to be, and then seeing how other things fit into your life and being that person in your world that you love and that you have self-acceptance of. And when you can, break that mindset of, I'm trying to be for somebody else, or I'm being judgmental of other people because I also have my own insecurities. When you can get rid of your own insecurities and love who you are, you're definitely going to be able to go out and be more positive and not worry about what other people are worrying about. I made a post on my social media the other day about, when you're worried about your weight and you're worried about what you look like, or you're worried about those kinds of things, those are your insecurities that are feeding your mind those things. And you oftentimes think when you're being insecure about something, other people are uncomfortable with your insecurity as well. So like, if I feel, bloated or fat in a bikini and I feel like I'm not good enough to be in that bikini, I feel like everyone else is thinking the same thing. But in reality, they're all thinking about their own insecurities and worrying about what other people think about them. And so confident people who are thinking and working on themselves, that are working on their own self-love, they don't care necessarily of what's going on in your world because they're working on themselves and they've made those breakthroughs in their life. So they're really learning to love themselves, and everything else changes. They're not judging you. If anything, they want to support you in creating your own self-love journey so that you can have the same kind of happiness that they have. Happiness is a birthright that we often forego because we spend so much time being insecure about this perfect creature that God's made. And so my devotional yesterday was about seeking the kingdom first. And it says, God says to us, seek my kingdom first. It is a command that affects every detail of the day-to-day and how you respond obediently and how you are blessed. But more often than not, we reply, I'm tired, maybe later, I can't wait. And yet there is hope for all of us if we invest in ourselves and in the most important of pursuits. Seek him first. Learn who he's made you to be. Love the creation that he's created, which is you. You're the only creation there is just like you. You are the only one put together in the way that you are. You're the only one that's had the circumstances and experiences and the path that's laid out for you. So love who you are. Spend less time worrying about what other people are doing and focus on yourself. And when you can have that pursuit of a love and guidance of God's perfect creation, which is you, of yourself, then everything else falls into place. And so, you don't have to worry about what other people think or what other people are doing or how other people might living their life, because they're not living your life. They're living their life. And who are we to judge them for what they're doing? That will come later down the road with their choices and the things they're making, and the one that actually gets to make that decision on judging them. So your primary focus should be you. Your primary focus should be what you're accomplishing and what you're doing in a day-to-day basis, and really, praying for and focusing on how you can love the creature that God's made you to be, and how you can live and love your life and be way less critical of other people, because criticism for others is really a deep down criticism of yourself and your own insecurity. It's a reflection of what you see in other people that drives you bananas. I know that when I personally have had struggles in relationships and I find myself being really annoyed with something that someone says or how they do it or whatever, it's usually something that we're so similar on that it just drives me bananas that's how I'm like. So like when you look at other people, you're seeing a mirror reflection of who you are deep inside. And so, if there's you find other people to be around, for one, and let go of the insecurities that you have about yourself, and just be your best person and love who you are on the inside, and it will definitely show on the outside. You'll be a stronger person, you'll be a more confident person, and you'll be way less critical of others because you know that deep down inside of you, it's probably something that you're doing as well. So that's what I got for you this morning. I really hope and pray that it speaks to you in some way, and that you seek Him first, seek the creation that He's created for you, and love who you are on the inside, because that is definitely going to help you be more positive. It's going to help you criticize others less. It really helps you be who you are. It helps you live your happiness birthright that you have, because when you love yourself, you can love on others, and your outside is a direct reflection of what's happening on your inside. I know that when I started this healthy living journey, I really just wanted to lose weight, but what I really needed to do was learn to love myself. The thing that my outside was a direct reflection of my feelings of myself on the inside. And when I started the self-love journey, when I started really taking care of myself and honoring the creation that God created, honoring my body, honoring my mindset, believing and having more faith in Him, that's when my outside started to get strong. That's when my outside started to shed the weight of the self-doubt and fear, and the physical weight as well. That's when things just started to living a happier life. And I'm way less critical of other people. I'm way more loving of others now than I was before, because I have the love inside of me to give. But when I was empty myself, because I wasn't filling my own cup, I was pouring negativity into other people. I was getting in the complaining trap. I was getting into the downward spiral of negative thoughts. And that wasn't serving me or anyone around me. It just brought everyone else down too. So if you are ready to find your happiness, if you're ready to be find that one trick, that one thing that is holding you back from living your best life, start with yourself. Start with the one person that you can change. Start with the one person that is created perfectly for you, the only person that you're going to spend your entire life with, yourself, and start working on that person. And, if it's for you, it will not pass you. If you have opportunities come into your life, take advantage of them. If you have, happiness pieces that you know that you need to work on, start loving who you are, and everything else will fall into place for you. So thanks so much for joining me. Thank you, Bethany, for that love heart comment there. I appreciate you. I would really appreciate too if you're listening in the podcast form, or you're listening in whatever app or whatever you're in, that you share this with other people, that you comment, if you're especially listening on iTunes, I hope that you would give us a like and a rating. If you're listening somewhere else, I hope that you share this and help other people see and find this voice as well. These can be really tricky things to maneuver in life, and it's sometimes a hard journey to start. But if you need help and support, I would love to connect with you. I'd love to make more of a connection with my followers and my listeners. So I would love to have a one-on-one conversation with you via messenger or email or phone even. Let's get connected and let's talk, because I want to be able to serve you more. I want to be able to support you in the things that you're struggling with. And so I want to continue to provide value for you in this podcast. So if there are things that you're struggling with, or things that you want me to talk more about, or help walk through things with you, whether they're fears or struggles or, confidence building or leadership things, or whatever it is that you need me to walk through with you on, I would love to support you and do that. So I'm always looking for what you need so I can serve you better, and reach out and let's message Public House Media. Let's message me in the apps, comment below things. Let's talk about what it is that you're struggling with and that I can help serve you with. I may not know all the answers, but I definitely want to help where I can and research things for you and help you rise up out of your current struggles and live your best life. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that you come back again. I hope that you share this with at least 3 people. Share it on your social media. Tell other people about it. And if you've not yet done so, go vote for Choose to Rise and my good friend Christian on Press Row in the podcast awards. You can vote all the way up till July 31st. And I'm sure the link is somewhere in the show notes or here in this podcast for you to go do that. So thank you so much for joining me this morning, and I will be back here on Friday talking more about creating healthy habits that you can use in habit stacking. And it's kind of a technique that I've used to build on creating a happier, healthier life, and just creating